Let's go. Check, check. All right. We're live. We are good to go. Okay, guys. So we're going to crack right into it today. If you've been trying to build muscle, trying to build strength, doing general bodybuilding or physique competition, or just going on the road to becoming a physique competitor or bodybuilder, then I'm sure that you're very familiar with protein and calories. This is, it's the two most important parts of building muscle. However, there are a lot of aspects when it comes to the bodybuilding diet that are extremely overlooked. Today, I'm going to present 4 points, 4 overlooked diet aspects in descending order, or ascending, I guess. Starting with the least overlooked, ending with what I consider to be, in my personal experience, the most overlooked aspect. So, really excited about this. All 4 of these points I can make a separate video on. I'm going to try not to take 2 hours on this episode. I'm going to keep it pretty brief. We'll see how we do. But first and foremost, my name is Zach with Fox Physique. This is my weekly podcast where we talk about everything from bodybuilding, strength training, to men's health and well-being, or just general well-being. So, let's crack right into it, guys. The top 4 most overlooked diet aspects of bodybuilding and general strength training and muscle growth. Number 4, this is the one that I think most people overlook, but not as much as the last one. Vitamins. And the reason I have this at the bottom of the list is because a lot of people are using multivitamins. However, the reason that it's on the list, I guess, is because let me clear my head a little bit. So the reason that we have this on the list is because a lot of people are focusing very strong on protein. And while protein is extremely important, as well as calories, the body needs micronutrients or vitamins, not just macronutrients, to optimize every part of our body's ability to fight off illness, our body's ability to recover, to rest well. All of these different aspects are regulated by all the different micronutrients. And when I say vitamins, I also am mentioning minerals as well. So I probably should say vitamins and minerals. That's our number 4. There's no supplement that can compensate for a poor diet or lifestyle. So you should be trying to get the majority of your multivitamins, or not multivitamins, but vitamins and minerals from your food sources. So particularly, a couple of the best places that you can get them would be from leafy green vegetables and fruits. If you're getting fruits and leafy green vegetables, you're going to get most of the nutrients that you need. You're going to already be getting your carbs in. Most people will. So we don't have to talk too much about that, except for make sure that those carbs are not coming from refined sources. Get it from whole grain rice, potatoes, sweet potato, and of course your fruit. What a lot of people are going to miss are green vegetables. So broccoli, cauliflower isn't green, but it's very similar to a superfood. I would say that it is a superfood. Brussels sprouts, spinach, lettuce. Make sure that you opt for like romaine lettuce. Pretty much anything but iceberg lettuce. Iceberg lettuce is basically, it has the nutrient profile of an iceberg, like a block of ice. It's mostly water. So anything but iceberg, you'll be pretty much fine on that front. So number 4, vitamins and minerals. Number 3, water. We're going to talk about this a little bit more. But most people are not getting enough water. Now, this is a very common thing, and I'm going to clear this up right away. A lot of people say that soda and coffee doesn't count. I actually am going to say the opposite. Um, those things definitely count toward your liquid intake for the day. However, don't get too excited about that, guys, because we still need to take in water, right? Like, if I tell that to the wrong person, and this is why you have to be very careful about what you say as a personal trainer or nutritionist. If you tell the wrong person that soda and coffee counts toward your water intake for the day, then you're going to start seeing a lot of your clients drinking more soda and more coffee. And while that's helping their water intake, that's not necessarily healthy for them. It's not healthy for them, period. You need a clean water source rather than just soda, coffee, even tea. First of all, coffee and tea are really great, but if you're drinking that for hydration, then you're going to have way too much caffeine in your diet. And soda, we all know that soda is bad for you. There's a couple brands that actually probably help your health more than hurt it, but that's not what most people are drinking. You need clean water because that water has to flush out all the crap in your body. And even if you eat a super clean diet, you're still going to have gunk in your stomach that has to get out of you. It helps your body regulate your digestive system. Let's paint it this way. If you have a lot of food residue in your sink, are you going to clean your sink by pouring in coffee and soda? Of course not, because then you just have coffee and soda in your sink. You have to run water through your sink to clean it out, right? That's basically how water works in the human body. This is the reason that you need clean water as opposed to just diet sodas, coffee, tea. You have to flush that stuff out with clean water. Helps clear out toxins. Another reason that you need water is fluid retention. So, especially for physique competitors and bodybuilders who are trying to look as lean as possible, one of the biggest things that bodybuilders do to look lean, especially toward the last 10 days, which I just finished personally, before show day, they call it peak week again, is to flush the water out of the skin. It makes the skin appear more thin, shows vascularity more, and it shows muscle fibers more. One of the top things that you can do to flush the water out of the skin is by drinking more water. When you drink more water, your body says, all right, we have enough of this, so we don't need to hold on to the water. We can flush the water out because we have a constant source. Now, I usually use a camel as an example for someone who doesn't drink enough water. If you see a camel in the desert in a movie or a cartoon, I don't think that you can really see like a lot of camels in America in general, unless you maybe go to a zoo. The most common thing that we see with camels are the two humps on their back, or maybe one hump. I don't know. A lot of different types, probably. That hump on their back is mostly fat and water. Because camels are designed so that they can survive for a long period without water. Because where do you see camels wandering around? Usually in desert-like atmospheres, where they're not going to get water for days on end. So their bodies store water. The human body is not much different. While it's not as efficient as a camel, we still store water so that we have a backup reserve in case of emergency. So when your body says, all right, we don't have enough water because you're not drinking enough, it doesn't know the difference between you walking through the desert and you just being, I don't know the word, irresponsible with the amount of water that you drink. It doesn't know the difference. So when you drink more water, your body signals that we have enough now. We can flush out this extra stuff that we don't need anymore. And you start looking more lean. So that's a really important part of drinking water. That's an instant result that you can actually see. Water, and we mentioned this a moment ago too, water keeps you regular, so it also clears out toxins. Kind of these two go together, clearing out toxins and staying regular. Helps your body with the digestive system, helps you go number one, number two. Very simple. Also, really important to people who are on a bulking diet. So if you're trying to eat extra calories to gain weight and muscle, it's almost impossible to get those calories in without increasing sodium intake. If your sodium's a little bit too high, the first thing that you can do to help yourself with that sodium intake is to drink more water. That water helps flush out the sodium as well as the toxins. Helps you balance out the amount of sodium that is in your body. Now, you want to regulate that because some people really do have a low amount of sodium, and drinking a lot of water actually can put you too low, which is also very dangerous. So if you're on that end, make sure that you're very conscious of how much sodium that you're taking in, and maybe occasionally putting a pinch of salt in your water. It's very rare though, so make sure that you really know that you're not taking in enough sodium before you do that. Know your stuff, guys. The very last reason that water is extremely important is because it helps your supplements work better, particularly creatine and multivitamins. The main trigger for creatine to work with your body is to pull more water into the muscles. Well, if you're not drinking more water, then you're not going to have extra water to pull into the muscles. And a lot of what happens when people go on creatine for the first time is that they don't know how to drink more water, and they end up getting muscle cramps and feeling kind of lousy and dehydrated, and they don't know why. Because to them, nothing changed with their water intake, and it's very strange for the first time realizing that you need more water. So it definitely helps creatine quite a bit. You're actually going to put on about 3 to 5 pounds within the first week or two of starting creatine, just because you're pulling more water into the muscles. Makes you look more full too, which is great. Now, multivitamins is one that people don't typically think of that much. In your multivitamins, you have two different types of vitamins and minerals. You have fat-soluble vitamins and minerals and water-soluble vitamins and minerals. Specifically, we're talking about water-soluble vitamins and minerals. I think it's pretty clear here, but you have to, basically soluble, you have to dilute those vitamins in water for them to be more effective at reaching the bloodstream in your body. That's basically all there is to it. So to make water-soluble vitamins and minerals more effective in your body, drink more water. I'm gonna turn my phone off. I'm getting text messages during this podcast. All right. Yeah, so number 3, water. Number 2, this is the second most overlooked aspect. And this one I want to look into a little bit more, but I do have some points for you guys. This is enzymes. Enzymes are extremely important for bodybuilding, specifically building muscle, building strength. Enzymes are the part of the food that help you break down the nutrients in the food. Simply put, helps you break down carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. When you increase the amount of proteins in your body, usually you're doing that through eating meat. Some meats are very hard to digest. Pretty much all meats are, compared to like whey protein or egg white. Especially red meat. Red meat is what's called cross-fibered meat. That means like if you actually take a piece of chicken, for instance, you can actually see that you can pull it off in strings. It's basically straight fibers. Red meat like steak, you can't do that. Maybe if you smoke it for a really long time, you can get it that way. But it's cross-fibered. So you have your main strings on the red meat like steak, but you have another cross-section that goes up and down. I don't know, maybe it gets more advanced than that. I'm not too sure. But that's basically how I look at it. It's like, it almost looks like a knit. So obviously it's hard to pull apart for your hands. Then it's definitely going to be harder to break down for your body. Whatever you can easily separate with your hands and break apart, it's easy to break apart in your stomach. What's really hard and tough to pull apart with your hands, harder for your stomach to digest. Enzymes help you digest these things. The enzymes break them down and pre-digest them for your stomach. So the more enzymes that you have in your body, the more protein you're going to absorb before the meat or whatever you're eating goes all the way through your digestive tract. I'll give you a few foods that you can find enzymes in, and I would definitely advise you to look into this a little bit more. The top 2 foods right off the bat, because in general, fruits, like raw fruits, because when you cook, you're cooking down the enzymes. So first of all, don't cook your food quite as much. Don't cook it into the ground. Cook everything at a lower temperature. Fruit has tons of enzymes as well as meat if you don't cook it too much. The 2 top foods are both fruits, and I'm going to tell you them now. That's pineapple and papaya. Now, I don't know what the names of the enzymes are in papaya specifically. However, the enzyme in pineapple is bromelain. Look into it a little bit, guys. It's an extremely powerful enzyme that will help you digest your food, digest your proteins, and it helps a ton when it comes to putting on muscle and building strength. So number 2, enzymes. Last but not least is fiber. Well, last but not least, this is a increasing importance. So I guess the most important one, the one that's most overlooked, is fiber. Pretty much everyone that I've ever talked to when it comes to bodybuilders, not everyone, but almost everyone, mentions anything but fiber. And so I have a very fun acronym for you guys to tell you the benefits of fiber. So for each letter, I have a word. Fiber. Fullness, insulin control, beneficial bacteria, expectancy as in life expectancy, and regulation. That's my acronym. So fullness. Fiber at 0 calories. This is really good for actually cutting down your calories and still feeling full. Fiber adds volume to your food at the cost of 0 calories. Keeps you feeling full for longer. When you're bulking, when you're increasing your calories, for whatever reason, it doesn't matter as much being full all the time. You probably will be already. But when you're bringing your calories down, it's extremely important. Because if you're hungry all the time, then you're going to be miserable. Insulin control. So basically, fiber in your body helps you control your insulin. If you eat something kind of sweet that has sugar in it, whether it be extracted sugar like processed sugar, which obviously try to avoid that. But that also falls under honey and maple syrup, by the way, guys. Whether that's processed sugar or sugar through grains, or fruits, the fiber that you eat with your meals helps you regulate that, and it lowers the amount that your insulin will spike when you eat sweet foods or foods that are high in carbs. Beneficial bacteria. So obviously, we have what's called gut flora. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the term, but you have beneficial bacteria in your stomach. You basically have a live ecosystem in your stomach. That includes enzymes as well. You have bacteria in your stomach that helps you break down your foods. Without the bacteria in your stomach, you're not going to be able to break down your food that well. You're going to have a lot of digestive issues. And this is really important. This will really, it will hurt your life. Hurt your life. It will hurt your life expectancy. It will make you more unhealthy, more trips to the doctor. The reason that the bacteria in your body is benefited by fiber is because bacteria feed on fiber. Bacteria look at fiber as food, among other things. While you can't break down fiber that well, bacteria does, and it keeps your bacteria healthy and thriving. So, in turn, it helps your digestion. Life expectancy. It's basically because of all the reasons that we have listed here. Eating more fiber increases your lifespan. There are many studies that will show you that people's lives are increased by eating more fiber, and they are decreased by eating less fiber. And the last one is regulation. So having more bulk of fiber in your stomach, the fiber basically binds to whatever you're eating. So the fiber binds things together, right? Like without fiber, lettuce would just fall apart. It's the fiber that actually binds the lettuce together and keeps its shape, right? So that's the same thing that happens with the digested food in your stomach. The fiber binds it all together. And so, not to be graphic, but when you go to the bathroom, that's why it's not just, liquidy, I guess. That's really gross, but it's extremely important. This is what has to be happening throughout your entire body as your body's processing food. That fiber has to bind everything together so that it moves through your body very smoothly and regularly. And when you have more fiber in your body prioritizes getting that food out rather than just sitting in your gut for an extended amount of time, which is very interesting. I would like to do a separate study on this, or even a separate video, where basically most Americans have more waste in their stomach that just sits there than they actually think. So, fullness, insulin control, beneficial bacteria, life expectancy, and regulation. Fiber. All right, guys, this week we don't really have any questions, so we're just going to leave the video to that. Thank you very much for watching. If you have questions, you don't have to put it in the live chat. You can drop it in the comment section of any video. I respond to every comment and every question. Leave a like, sub to the channel, ring the bell icon, and I'll see you next time.